Hello and welcome to our special coverage of the ongoing protest. Don't forget, today is day 2 of the protest. The protest started yesterday in spite of all effort by the federal government to thwart the protest. So far so good. It has been peaceful in some part of the country and it has been not peaceful in other part of the country. The latest figures we are getting is that 175 people have been killed so far. More than 1,000 have been arrested. And goods worth 6 billion naira have been destroyed or looted. But before we come down to the issues, I'm being joined by my guest in the house. I have Mrs. Kate Richard. She is the MD of the Founder Community Care and Hope Foundation. Madam, very good to have you on the show.
Nice to be here too.
All right. I also have our in-house analyst. He's no other person than Dr. Sani Aliu. He's the Corps Commandant General of NESO. Dr. Aliu, it's good to have you again.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Before I begin to get your reactions on what the protest is like, if it is peaceful or not, I want us to take a little short break and then we can hook up with our correspondent, Real One, who is on the field to tell us exactly what is the situation today in Abuja. I do know that this morning there was some kind of protest in Bega, somewhere in Bega, but I don't know if it has been still on or they have been dispersed. But we'll get to Real One to tell us exactly what the situation is like after the break. If you can hear me, where exactly are you right now?
Right now, I'm standing in front of the Secretariat in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, where the protest actually stood on yesterday morning. Right now, the place is very scanty. There is no protester present here, as securities have been picked up. Extra security men have been brought in to secure that part. And also, I tried to reach out to the stadium where the protest actually started yesterday morning before they were trekked down to the Eagle Square. But right now, that place also has been started because security personnel actually bumped into people, in the protesters in that place to actually stop them from actually gathering. So what the tactics mainly was that the security men should dispatch them and stop them from actually coming together, coming into groups to make them be in multiple numbers to actually stop the security men or overpower the security policemen. Like in the place of NNPC Junction, there are police men also. There is a checkpoint made there, and also at the Secretariat just before you pass through the Race Continental Hotel, the Central Mosque Axis, also the Bank of Agriculture Junction, that's the bridge leading towards the Finance Ministry, and then at the bridge of the Finance, also front of the National Assembly, also the case linking to National Assembly and the House of and the Eagle Square also. So these are what's actually happening presently in the city center in Abuja.
Have you been able to talk to any of the protesters?
Yes, I was able to talk to one of the protesters. Though he's not a protester, he's a journalist, a colleague like me, who also came in to see if there will be protesters, and also there was none, because he also left the stadium where the protesters were actually dispatched by the security personnel.
Okay, Mr. Real One, there's also an allegation in the air that people didn't come out because there was no money for them, especially the protesters. Yeah, is that true?
The allegations were rumored, even though it is what we've been hearing from quarters since yesterday night. Because according to, as we left the protest scene, there were protesters who were still standing by till late in the evening hours of yesterday. So some were saying that there was no funds dispatched for them as at yesterday, so they would not come out this morning. But those were rumors, because we tried investigating to see if truly there were sponsors who actually gave cash, but there was none of such. But this morning we were expecting that, okay, these protesters will come double. The only protesters we heard of were the ones who came out in the early hours around 8 o'clock, who they had their own protest at Bega, roundabout at Bega, but the policemen didn't even allow them hold the protest, because they had to chase them out because they were not many. So like I told you, the tactics most importantly was not to allow the protesters to group in, because if they come in group, it will be difficult for it will cause the chaos, and also the issue of probably stoning them with tear gas and the likes of them. So the main importance was the beef up of the security and brought normalcy to the city center, most especially the Eagle Square and that of the stadium.
What is the economic activity like around the city? Are people moving around? Are banks opened? Are offices opened?
Yeah, right now I even bought something to take in for myself, for you to know that economic activity is actually going on right now in the Eagle Square, as even commuters are also, motorists are also moving along those areas. Everybody is just moving along with his day-to-day activities. Only that for the civil service, the ministries are all closed down, shops are closed down around the center, and there is no really office activities going on. It's just motorists moving, and then traders who are actually selling one or two just outside to see if they could make ends meet for the day.
All right. Rilwan Gau, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much, Mark. See you soon.
Yes, and that's Rilwan Gau, a correspondent who has been covering the protest in the FCT. As you can hear, today is day 2 of the protest, and in the FCT, so far so good. There have not been the kind of protest that we saw yesterday. According to Real One, security agents are everywhere, blocking every access that will allow for protesters to converge. But we take another break and move to Cano to see exactly what the situation is like in Cano. Don't forget, yesterday, because of how the protest turned out, the governor declared a curfew. So we'll be asking our correspondent in Cano to give us an update of exactly what is happening in Cano right now. But that will be after the break. Stay with us. Gentlemen, while we are waiting for our correspondent in Cano let me get your reaction on the protest so far, so good. Yes, let me start with Kate.
Okay, so for what happened yesterday, some of us were scared. We're just under our television watching to see what will happen. To some extent, some of us were not in support of it because we know the history of protest in Nigeria has not always been a successful one because things happen, people lose their life. For that reason, at a point we're saying it's still not time, maybe there should be dialogue, there shouldn't be people on the street yet. Let's see how the government will react to the demands of the protestants being given to them. But then it happened yesterday and it turns out to be what we were scared of. It was quite a bad experience in some states. Meanwhile, in other states like my state, it was a very, very peaceful protest because there were faces that can be held responsible for it. For instance, a very big man of God with a big congregation was leading that protest, and a former minister in the last administration was also part of the protest, and the protest ended up well. In fact, it ended up with people even cleaning where they littered. So it was a very peaceful protest in some states, while in other states the report was not very, very good. People losing their life was not what we should pray for our state.
So let me come to Dr. Aliu. Dr. Aliu, how do you view the protest yesterday? What's your reaction to some of the things that happened yesterday and today?
Well, in fact, the whole of the protest for me is an unfortunate situation. It's something the government, President Tinubu especially, shouldn't have allowed to happen in the first place because the demands are very clear. The problem is there. We all know the problem. There is hunger and hardship in the country. So, and what brought about this hunger and hardship is just only one item. The declaration of removal of subsidy what brought all this hue and cry. So, if President Tinubu had protested against the removal of subsidy earlier, and President Jonathan then removed and went back to the former price, I didn't see any why President Tinubu wouldn't go back to the next, at least bring it back to at least 300 naira.
But let me take you up on that. When you see the kind of demands, that the protesters are making, reverse fuel subsidy, part-time legislation, removal import duties on imported goods. When you see reverse electricity tariff and all of that, do you think those demands are, how will I put it? Yes, they are justified, but do you think they will be reversed?
Well, for me, the issue is for you as president or somebody who has canvassed for vote from the people, you are here to serve the Nigerian people. Nigerian people are not to serve you. And if the Nigerian people say that your policy is biting on them, you should look at how to cushion the effect for them. Only that item taken, forget about any other demand, that item taken, said, okay, like Jonathan did, and it all went dead. He knew. President Tinubu is unaware. He wouldn't say he's unaware of that because he was the leader of the protest at that time.
He's a product of protest himself.
He's a product of protest. So when they demanded the removal of subsidy, Jonathan went back to the old point. We are not saying Tinubu should go back to the old price regime, but at least let him cut it down to 300. All these other demands fall under this single subject of removal of subsidy.
Do you think it's possible?
The moment you reduce pump price to 300 naira, for instance, this protest wouldn't have come at all. In the first place, Nigeria would have been celebrating Tinubu now, and he would have been going anywhere in this country without any security. Doesn't need security.
But do you think it's possible? Because this was a president who, on May 29th, he said he courageously removed subsidy because subsidy was sucking us dry. It was feeding a few cabal, and he needs to get it off for the country to breathe. Do you think it's possible for him to reverse that now?
I will, like Erufai said a few months ago, that the government is still paying subsidy. That the subsidy is not completely removed. So what was that? And how many people have the government brought to book of the cabal they accuse of sapping the Nigerian money through subsidy. How many of them have they broke the book if they are serious about it? That's another question. The other one, this money they have said they are getting from the subsidy, where have they injected it? Where has it been used? How does it affect the common man on the street? Does the common man feel the effect? When before now, with 100 naira in Nigeria, you can drink garri and kulikuli and survive. With 1,000 naira now, you cannot. So what are we not saying? The issue is that man there is hungry, and a hungry man is an angry man. So in the first place, what I am saying that if Tinubu has won off the face of Nigerian telecows, because he's coming from that background, a lot of us fell under his tutelage earlier. And so we are surprised, especially myself, I'm surprised that President Tinubu did not do the needful immediately to make sure that there's no need for any life to be lost. Because there's no Nigerian life that is worth to be lost in this demand. What are we doing that we have lost about 100 and something lives? Is it what the President Tinubu wants? No.
Okay.
But at least he should have listened to Nigerians as okay. In fact, the advisors, I don't know who are advising him, because the ministers, his ministers and special advisors and all those things, I think they are not doing the president good. Because the president I know is someone who has the feelings of the heart of the common man in Nigeria, and wouldn't have remained so glued on this position if he has a very good advisor to remind him where he was coming from and what he was fighting for before now.
Okay. Before I get Kate's reaction, we'll take another break and see if we can get our correspondent in Cano to give us an update on the situation in Cano. After the break, stay with us.
Okay, good.
Okay, what is the situation? Hold on. What is the situation in Cano this morning or this afternoon?
Today in Cano was so quiet by the curfew which was done by the government, statement by his spokesperson Sunusi Batura Dawakin Topa, because the protest in Cano was so crashed. Hello?
Oh, yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Oh, good. In response of the irregrettable events that unfolded during the rest date.
So you're saying nobody is protesting in Cano today? Everywhere is quiet?
Yes, especially the damages places which the protest make yesterday. Because the police was making a very, very, very security in the places such as Bata area and Sabangari, Ahmad Bello way. In fact, now I'm in Gedi around Sasto, which was done by the protest yesterday.
Okay, so everywhere in Cano now is quiet?
That is my observation.
Okay, and no any economic activity?
Yes. Any place, even the shopping malls, most of them are closing, including ShopRite and that Sahat store.
All right. Are there people who sell things around?
No, because most of people are secure.
Okay. All right. Hafsat, thank you very much for joining us.
Okay, thank you so much.
All right, thank you very much. And that is our correspondent Hafsat in Cano. We'll take another break, and when we come back, we'll be dissecting the issues around the country. Stay with us. Welcome back. My guest, you have heard Hafsat, you have heard Real One. What do you make of the situation in Cano? I know before this protest, you and I had a program, and you did say that the protest is not going to be peaceful, and that you and I will come back to this table to discuss the level of destruction. So whatever you have said 3 days ago
has come to pass.
Yes.
Sure.
So as envisaged.
Sure. So we are happy and we'll say thank God that everywhere is calm today with the measures the security officers of each state has taken to calm his situation down. It's quite unfortunate that things have to happen this way before we take an action to stop it. To me, we saw this coming, as you said earlier, that we actually discussed this. It was something that could have been averted in the first place, that we couldn't have allowed life and properties destroyed before an action as such should be taken. And it's something that I think the president, with his policy, was meant for the people to enjoy, because if you believe the cabals are the ones enjoying the people, our commonwealth money, you are paying subsidy to people. To me, they are faceless, because the poor man doesn't even know who is collecting money for subsidy. But the subsidy money, as the president have said, has been channeled to our governors, which we have not been seeing it. So if I'm not seeing the subsidy, as some of the protesters were saying yesterday, it's for the president. It's for the president to still look into it. Instead of removing this subsidy and taking it, it's like robbing Peter to some extent and paying Paul with it. Because still the money being given to these governors are still being diverted. The common man is not seeing the effect of those money. And you sending palliative. I heard somebody on the television saying yesterday that we are not hungry people. We are not poor. We are not people staying in a refugee camp. That you think those palliative are reaching us directly. So those palliative are still not coming to the people suffering this removal of fuel subsidy. So I want to please, as in, still talk to the president to still look into this issue of fuel subsidy. Instead of sharing this money to the governor, it's better that you still pay the subsidy and people will see the effect of it. As my brother here has already said, that once the subsidy is if you pay the subsidy, if you reduce the fuel pump money, it will affect everything. Yes, the price of food will go down. The prices of a lot transportation is going down. The issue of buying transport, putting buses in state, these policies are actually not working. But I'm very sure the president is not aware of it. Because if he is aware that the poor man, the poverty in the villages now because of this fuel money is something that we have never even imagine that such thing
is unimaginable.
Is unimaginable.
Okay, so let me just make some kind of corrections earlier on. The number of deaths is 21. The injuries are 175. Number of street arrests 1,154, and curfew declared in 3 states: Yobe, Maiduguri, and Cano. This is the reports that we have right now, and most part of the country the protest is peaceful. But let me come to Dr. Aliyu. When you look at the security agencies yesterday and today, how would you rate their conduct? I do know that the Inspector General of Police yesterday did release a statement, and he was talking directly to Nigerians, and he said all their security agents are on red alert, to cope any situation that might arise, or any crisis, or any breakout from the protest. How would you rate the conduct of the security agencies?
Well, for me, I think it's a mixed feeling. For me, it's a mixed feeling. When you are looking at from the national aspect of it, that's from the Office of the Inspector General, you will say that in a usual Nigerian manner, fire brigade approach was taken, and I think to some certain extent things were being brought down into a little control. But from some of the commissioners, especially one that is trending on the social media, telling his men that on the slightest threat you see, use your guns. How can you tell your policemen to use firearms on citizens that are protesting? That is very I should think unprofessional. I should think the IG should caution that commissioner, bring him to order. You are instructing your men on the slightest provocation, protect your life, use your gun and kill Nigerians.
I think the first thing is to verify if the video is even authentic.
Well, it's
maybe it might be video that was shot sometime ago.
Whatever video it is, whether it's authentic or it's not authentic, is a police commissioner talking to mobile police and reminding them of the training they receive and all the what have you, and saying they can use their guns at the slightest threat to protect their life. So I don't know at the level he was even saying when you use your stick and like that, the protester will use your stick. Whatever it is, I think
so. It's an allegation. The IG needs to look into it.
He has to look into it, so that we should make our police a more professional police.
But
we shouldn't allow. If you in fact in most protests you use rubber ammunitions. Plastics that will just cause a little hurt on somebody. But when you say you are giving instruction, live ammunition to be used on unprotected citizens, that is
we saw tear gas being fired in Abuja yesterday. Our correspondent and some of the protesters that he interviewed were caught up in that tear gas. I don't know if it will be on the screen for people to see. I do know that happened in Abuja, yesterday, where protesters were being tear gassed, and I hope it will come up and so that we can see. I think, but would you say largely that our protests have matured to the level where we can say this country can hold a peaceful protest?
No, with what happened yesterday, we can't say that our protest has matured for that we can be protesting with what happened yesterday, because what happened yesterday was something very, 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 very bad for any civil society to watch, And then secondly, sometimes most of the protests in Nigeria is being sponsored by opposition. I can say that because most of them are people that actually don't mean well. We may have a case to present, but those that will spearhead the program are people that actually don't really mean well to the citizen if given the opportunity to. So most of the time you see people losing election, the next thing is that to regroup and then engineer, or they put the masses against the government, trying to make the government ungovernable for the person that won the election. So most of the times we have to be more Nigerians. We have to put our selfishness aside. We have to put our interests aside.
When you say protest is being sponsored by opposition,
yes,
the question will be, does hunger have opposition?
The thing there
hunger does not have opposition.
Yes.
Hopelessness does not have opposition.
We are all hungry.
Yes.
All the policies.
Saying that the millions of Nigerians who protested yesterday are politicians?
To some extent, in some states, we saw where money were being shared to people that came out. So if we are protesting because things are going on wrong, you will see it from our conduct, because it won't turn out to be violent. It won't. But when somebody has ginger you to say, put Mr. A against Mr. B, that is where the problem is.
That what happened yesterday?
That was in some states. That was what happened yesterday.
I to disagree with you.
No, that was what happened, because I know in some areas where money were being shared for people to come. Me, I know people that called me personally that they were brought in.
In which state and in which part of the
No, for the one that happened in my state, I'm telling you, there was nothing. I can show you videos.
So who called you and said they gave you money?
It was the same in Abuja here, that somebody was saying I should come out. Let's go for the protest. There is money. And I said, no, at my level, I shouldn't be involved in such a thing. You understand?
So you're saying that all the people that came out,
not all,
being
but
given money,
those people that actually sponsored this thing most of them don't really mean well. Things are actually, I've said it earlier on here, that the money, the subsidy,
No,
the
but
money
the question
going into...
is, do people need to come to your house and knock on your door for you to know that you're hungry and this hunger needs to be addressed?
No, when we are hungry, we know things have gone bad.
So people cannot come out.
Things have
protest
gone bad.
because
That's
they're
what I'm
hungry.
saying. I'm not disagreeing the fact that things are really not okay in this
I'll just
country.
pause you there and come to Dr. Ali because he's already itching to
It's
bump
okay.
into the
The whole thing
to
is
the discussion.
the whole thing is multifacial.
Yeah,
You have the elitist protests,
as usual.
you have the
Every protest.
political
Yes,
politician
angle,
protest
yeah.
angle, and then you have the man that is common and is hungry. All he wants is let he have food to eat. And do you know why Nigerians are described the most docile society in the world? I will tell you now if you don't know. Because no matter what you bring to Nigeria, what you brought into Nigeria, it doesn't shake Nigerians. You know why? Because you can survive with 300 naira then in Nigeria. You go to a shy place and drink shy of 50 naira, 100 naira shy is good for you for the breakfast.
Yes, with a 15 naira bread.
With a 50 naira bread.
Yeah.
And then in the afternoon, you go and meet me tuwo. She give you 3 tuwo of 20 naira, a 20 naira meat, and 10 naira pure water. And 17 naira has taken care of your lunch. In the same thing dinner. Yeah. So whatever anybody is saying, whatever money anybody is stealing, whatever wrong the politicians are doing, the common man out there doesn't care, because all he cares about is his stomach infrastructure.
Yeah.
And so his stomach is easily filled with little money, so he doesn't need to go out and start crashing. But the same thing now, Gary that you can use 100 naira and buy with kuli and drink and feel full for afternoon. Yeah. You cannot use 1,000 naira as it is now to take the same Gary. Why wouldn't people be angry?
So
and anybody who's
now the docility is being some kind of thrown away because of the hunger.
Because of the hunger.
So the hunger has succeeded in pushing away the docility.
What Bob Marley say, a hungry man is an angry man. And he can do anything. This is what is happening. Now we have the elitist protest in Abuja, where politicians can sponsor some people who call themselves activists to come and stand on and start talking English. Yeah. That person in Cano and Kaduna, all he cares about is his stomach. And that's he comes out, nobody gives him kobo. That is why they are going to loot. Because they don't have money to eat, they don't have food in their houses, so the slightest opportunity they have to break into stores and pack food. If you go to Edo State, that was what happened. They broke into a store and was packing away rice. This is a hunger strike. Let's not deceive President Tinubu. President Tinubu should do something about this thing. Okay. Whatever it is, they have to give solution to this thing. Honestly
but how long will it take the president to react? Because we have not seen any reaction since yesterday till today. We have not heard any top government officials coming to tell us, we have heard your protests and we have heard your demands and we're going to look at them one after the other. We have not heard since yesterday till today. I don't know, maybe at the end of today there will be. But do you think this protest, this particular protest will push this government to do a reversal?
To some extent, I think there should be an action by the government. If not, with what happened now, it will come a stage where people will not wait for somebody to mobilize them before coming on the street. People will come out because there is hunger. There is hunger. I'm not saying taking that away. There is hunger in the land. The president should react. I wish this message will get to him. Nobody is after, like people like us are people that actually voted him.
But when the president listened to somebody like you, who said the protest is being sponsored, hold on, that the protest is being sponsored by politicians. When he listened to you, it's being sponsored by opposition. Then he will take that message that, okay, the hunger in the land is nothing to cry, is not an issue to cry about, that already people like you and many others believe that is an opposition protest trying to throw him out of government, and he doesn't need to listen to the demand. All he needs to do is to work on the security agency to take control of the situation.
The truth is one. We cannot take away the facts that is on ground. So if we said there are people that are trying to hijack the protest. Yes, I have said it here, not even today, that there is hunger in the land, but there are different ways to go about this thing. There are so many ways that we can go about it. We must not storm the street. People must not be killed before the government will come to us. There are other ways that we will follow. We don't need to come out to protest, because at the end of every protest, it has never been successful. We really don't know what may have happened if not for the security on ground yesterday. Things were going on peacefully from nowhere. The politicians hijacked it. Those are the people I'm talking about. Those ones that are trying to cause confusion, not those ones that started a peaceful protest yesterday. The sponsored one came and infiltrated the peaceful protesters. So what I'm saying is that, yes, whether we like it or not, some politicians are against his government that are trying to seize the opportunity to cause confusion, to cause chaos. But the truth still remains. There is hunger in the land. And some of these policies are not people friendly. To say the truth, this money and whatever you are sending into these governors, we are not seeing the effects. Okay. So instead of giving the governors all trailers of rice, money is being sent to them, give it to pay the fuel subsidy and reduce the farm price, that it will affect the people in the village. All these things being sent to state, if you don't have anybody in government, you won't see a mudu of rice. I've never seen anything. Okay. People in my village have not seen one bag of rice. I know how we've been struggling paying medical bills for some people that are close to us. So how does that affect the common man? Okay. I believe the president is not aware of this. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. Let me come to Dr. Aliu. Dr. Aliu, when you hear people and government people saying protest is being sponsored by opposition who want to get power through the back door because they can't get it through the ballot, but you and I know in this country that the only language government understand is protest. Government does not understand dialogue. It does not understand negotiation until people protest, until there's a strike, before the government begin to listen. But let's even go back to the opposition, that if government is accusing people of sponsoring opposition, so what? Can the government deal with that?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, I don't toe that line of argument. I don't even want to even talk about whether politicians are hijacking on anything. My concern is that President Tinubu was seen earlier as fighting and struggling for the common man in Nigeria. As a protester, occupying Nigeria,
phrase,
whatever.
Let the poor breathe.
Let the poor breathe, and occupy Nigeria. And then Wole Soyinka said Jonathan was a monster or a Nicodemus or whatever. The Wole Soyinka now is not talking because he has been given appointment. Let's forget about that. Tinubu now doesn't do anything. It has no fault. The Wole Soyinkas, all of them have kept quiet. And that is why you see some of us in this country, we just look at things playing out, we just keep quiet. Once you say you are pro-Nigeria, you are for Nigeria, you are patriotic, whoever, whether it's your father that is the president or your mother that is the president, tell him the truth. Don't keep quiet. If you have been known on the part of the truth and saying this is wrong, when your friend, your father or your brother or your uncle is on that seat and the same thing is going on, please come out and tell him that what you are doing is wrong. Remind him of his former position. President Tinubu is not being reminded of his yesteryears. He's on seat now. We thought he will bring everything into right perspective. That's why people like us cannot speak out now, because we were the one that stake our necks out for him to vote in that place. And I knew how much I suffered because of supporting Tinubu here up north. But the issue is that the same person you know, the same person you see struggling and fighting for the common person is the same person now that is with the bourgeoisists. Because it's about the bourgeois policy. It's not about the common man policy. When you say, well, there is no country in the world today that does not subsidize for its citizens. Even America, they have agricultural subsidy, they have energy subsidy, they have fuel subsidy. Look, if any IMF loan or any Western person or any American is telling President Tinubu this is what to do, tell them that this is your country. You feel the pulse of the common man of your country. You feel the pulse of you are a Nigerian to the core. So struggle and see how you can bring good to Nigerian people. In fact, if President Buhari brought us to a lot of mess Why would Tinubu not take us take us out of that mess? Because if you want to talk in some quarter, they say it's because you are a northerner. And Tinubu now is a Yoruba man because when the northerner was there, you didn't protest, you didn't do this. Now it's a Yoruba man, you want to protest. Because, no, we are not talking about the north, east, and west. We are talking about Nigeria. And hunger does not have north, does not have east, does not have Islam, does not have Christianity. Hunger doesn't have any language. Everybody is hungry.
But when you tell people that President Buhari brought us to this mess, today, if you bring a President Buhari to contest the election in Nigeria, I'm sure he will win hands down. In fact, it will be a slight,
President Buhari left fuel at what? At dollar at what rate?
$100 at what rate? So these are the questions that we will bring. When President Buhari was thinking about removing subsidy, he knew that this was going to happen. And that was why he ensured that Dangote refinery was commissioned before he left. Because Dangote refinery, whether we take it or leave it, was supposed to cushion the effect of what the total subsidy removal will bring on Nigerians. Unfortunately, when the president finished and he left, and this president came and he removed subsidy, they didn't give the Dangote refinery the much cooperation that he needed. And then the issues came up, the sabotage, these ones don't want to sell to him. It was until when Dangote decided to fight back. He said he was going to fight them headlong. And he started exposing the Malta blending plant, where he said this is where people have their blending plant and they blend this thing and they bring it. That's why. And then they now said today, okay, we're selling you crude in Naira. They had to go back to those decisions that they would have taken much, much earlier. But the question will be, what happened to the poor man immediately elections are over? The poor man is only important during campaign, during election, when they want his vote. They speak the kind of language that he understands, and then he put on his t-shirt and then he dances around the street and he jumps from one pillar to another. And here we are today. So what happened to the poor man after election is over? Is it that his importance finishes immediately the president is announced?
As far as I'm concerned, his vote is what the politicians are after. But the truth still remained. President Tinubu needs to still look. Most of his cabinet, they are not people friendly. They are not together with the masses. They don't go to their villages. In fact, some of them go visit their state and end up in the state capital. Because if they reach their villages, some of them may be stoned. As my brother has already said, that the hungry man is an angry man. Perhaps things are very, very bad. We voted him, and if given the chance again, forget what is happening, I will still vote President Tinubu, because I think the man has an idea of what he wants, but the policies are not actually being taken the way it's supposed to be. Because if you said today that I'm removing fuel subsidy because it's enriching the elites, it's enriching the people, not is against the masses. And the masses are the one crying today that bring back the fuel subsidy, pay the fuel subsidy so that at least we can afford fertilizer. How much is fertilizer now? Everything in Nigeria has gone up because of the fuel, the pump price. So if they are not telling this man, this is what is happening, all they are after is the money is hearing to them every month, then they are after their pocket. We are still enriching another people.
Okay, but let me just ask you, let me still be with you. Why are people not holding their state governors accountable?
How can you assess the state governor?
But you are in the state.
You cannot assess them. You dare not even go close to their gates. You don't. And most of them, ask them, those trailers and the money being given, how are they sharing the palliative? The palliative are not...
No, let's be very realistic.
Yes,
let's be very realistic.
Okay.
A trailer of rice will not take more than 600 bags.
Yes.
Or maybe at most 900 bags.
600 bags.
To one local government. And the local government has a population of maybe 1 million or 200,000 or 500,000. Let's even go with 100,000. And you are bringing one trailer of rice of 600 or 900 bags. How will that go on?
I don't know if you see what was on the news today.
I'm only asking you, how will that go?
You share it at the end of the day. Some people collect it and they not even share it. They can in Edo State also that it was looted. Is the rice that somebody will collect.
Even in Kaduna State,
somebody will collect
2,000 bags were being hidden.
My sister, in my state, some people change the back of the rice with their pictures, trying to campaign, to use it to tell the people that it's coming from them. So how do you come to terms with these issues? So the best thing is for the man to know that if I'm going to the market, I can actually get my rice at 1,000 naira. I can get my oil as 200 naira. Not waiting for anybody to give me palliative, to use it against me tomorrow, because they are using it against them for election.
Okay.
Yes.
Dr. Leo, why are people in this government so arrogant? From the ministers to the DG to the governors, why are they so arrogant? When PDP was in government, we saw some kind of open door policy where you can access people, at their own level. But immediately ABC took over, we saw that arrogance of power where somebody who was your friend some years back, today you can't even access that person. Am I the one? It's
like a fraternity now.
Or is it the reality on ground?
Well, before I answer that your question, I would like to say that the system has turned Nigerians to become beggars. And the only way to give us food to eat is to share palliatives, turning us to become absolutely useless in our land and beggars. We are not in IDP camps that we need palliatives. We don't need those palliatives. What the president needs to do when he says he removes oil subsidy or fuel subsidy is to go and make food for Nigeria. How do we go into agriculture, use that money, open up the land, let's have grains and everything as let's be productive. Yes, let's be productive.
Let's not be consumers.
A country that can feed itself can call a stable country. When China was closing up to the world for about 50 years, because it want to make itself it want to guarantee its food security and sustainability. So if the policy here is to blind this place, to create this place, to make, because before oil, Nigeria was dependable on agriculture. So now when this oil has come and the president said, okay, there's abuse in this oil, this thing. Now, okay, remove oil subsidy, bring all this up subsidy, let's put it into agriculture. Let's make Nigeria a food secured nation, a sustainable food secured nation that we can even export food from. Then Nigeria will be patient. Then when the president is saying Nigeria be patient, we are doing something, Nigerians will see something that is going on, that we are doing. But not to share money to governors and governors to pocket that money. So a friend of mine was having an occasion and was called to come and cook food for an occasion. The senator has an occasion. And they opened a trailer load of rice for her to pick rice for inside. When she dipped the stick inside, the rice is already green, spoiled rice. Because the same money, the rice given to the senators to go and give to their people, they kept it kept those containers in their bag, in their house for their own. They cannot eat it. Look at wickedness. They cannot consume the whole container load of rice. They cannot help their relatives. If you go to their villages, their families, their extended family are hungry and suffering. But they are keeping 2 container rice of this in there. This is wickedness. Now, the president should know that the Nigerian political elite...
answer my question. Why are the Nigerian political elites very arrogant now?
Let the president know that the Nigerian political elites are wicked, arrogant, and non-friendly to the people. This started during PDP anyway, because there was a slogan in PDP: make them hungry, starve them, let them fed, but don't let them die. Get a little support to them. When they survive, they can still remain sustaining. But enrich them, they will come and fight you politically tomorrow.
Okay.
So it's a strategy. So these politicians you are seeing, they will never allow you to become something or make you become something, because they are afraid that when you become something, when they talk tomorrow, you can challenge them. So they will always like to make you a pauperize you. And that is why Nigeria has condescended so low today that government of Nigeria is sharing palliative to its citizens. I mean, it's very
insulting.
It's insulting to our people and to the status of our country. I remember in those days when you go out of Nigeria, you mention your name in Nigeria, people respect you. But today, the poorest international passport in the world, Nigerians among the first 10 or 15. That they don't allow you any only how many countries can we enter with our passport? About 40 countries. Only 40 countries, small countries. But look at small countries here. That you can see them going like this country said they can enter about 75 countries with their passport, but we cannot enter more than 40 countries.
How much will you be paying for visa?
It's insulting.
While we blame the government for bad policies and policy inconsistency and neglect sometimes, let's come down to the people themselves. Today, the people themselves are also benefiting from the situation. You go to the market today, you buy a mudu of rice for 2,000 naira. By the time you come back in 24 hours, there's a 200 added to it. Is that the fault of President Tinubu? And they kept telling you, oh, dollar has risen, so the rice has added 200. In 24 hours, the rice you bought maybe 3 months ago or 2 months ago, and then you have adding price one way or the other. And Nigerians themselves not also very wicked people on their own, who exploit every situation for their own good, punishing their own people. Let's even look at people who buy foodstuff from the farms. There are people who buy foodstuff from the farm, buy 100 bags, 1,000 bags, hold them for a year, and then begin to sell them at triple of the price that they bought. Are they not the ones that these protesters should be looking for and saying that you are the cause of our problem?
Okay, I was reading an article yesterday. They said the child came back home. Okay, the passport stuff.
Yeah.
So you can see where the
kind of corruption.
The kind of corruption.
Down, yeah.
I went to Garki market to buy yam, a tuber of yam. I bought it 2 days ago. It was 4,500. I went back to the market after leaving this place 2 days ago. I still went back to like buy. I said, customer, is it not the same yam you sell for me 4,500? He said, no, it's 650. I said, what happened? He said, the transportation. I said, oh, are you also using dollars? Because there was $1 is high. Are you buying yam in dollars? Are you importing yam? Are you importing tatase? You get it from Zaria, you get it from Jos, you get it tomato. So why are these things? So we are the problem. People take advantage of situations. Nigerians, on our own, we inflict some pain to ourselves. So if we cannot...
And to our people.
The truth is that if we cannot sit down and think well, and we keep blaming leaders every day, things will not change. The leaders are not dying. We are the one dying of poverty. Whether you like it or not, you buy something of 10 naira, you came to the market and you're selling it for 30 naira. That gain is too much. It's too much. So always think of your brother. Think of that person that cannot afford what you are selling. If you can make a little profit from it, that money will be more useful and will be more blessed. Perhaps you cannot stay with that thing forever. But then we don't really look at it in that way. What is happening now, I said to some extent, in any situation, there is something that we should learn from it. The hunger strike has brought no tribe, no religion. Now, with what happened in just yesterday...
I'm going to come to the lessons that is being learned. The protest is not over.
It's not over, but it has brought us together. Hunger has brought us together. We are speaking with one voice now.
It used to be football that used to bring us together.
Yes, but now hunger has brought us together. We don't see ourselves like, you are a Muslim, Haji, I'm a Christian again.
I even saw, Christians guiding Muslims praying in
in just yesterday, yes.
For a very long time.
For a very long time. And now they were everywhere yesterday. In just there are areas that Christian will tell you, I cannot enter Angorogo, I cannot go to Angwanrini, and the Christian will tell you, if you enter Mado, you're on your own. But they were all there yesterday. The story has changed because everybody is hungry. So The hunger has really brought, God allow it to happen. God allowed Tinubu to stop subsidy so that we can learn the lesson that we are not each other enemy.
Okay.
We should speak with one voice, and people should not come with religion during politics to divide us. We should understand that if there is a good governance, it progresses the state. It makes everybody live in peace, and you enjoyed it. You don't look at a Muslim that will come and give you good policy as your enemy, or you look at the Christian that will come with good policy that is going to affect everybody as your enemy. So at least what happened is a plus to some extent.
Yes, I know that if you are maintaining that, a lot of people will say, okay, let this protest continue now.
No.
If it is bringing us together.
No. We have already learned our lesson in a hard way. No, we've learned our lesson.
Let me come to Dr. Aliyu. Dr. Aliyu, democracy in Africa is seen to be very expensive, very exploitative. It's been for the government of the few, by the few, and for the few. Wouldn't it be apt for Africans, for Nigerians, to begin to think of a different kind of system of government that is less expensive and that is much more inclusive in terms of growth and in terms of distribution of wealth?
I think that is a very good question, and that is what we actually need to sit down and
as a people
to discuss. But before I go into that, I want to still make a point, because we have not gotten the solution to this problem.
Okay. The solution is remove subsidy.
The solution after
bring back subsidy.
Yes, that's the solution.
Yeah.
But when you talk of the problem we are having at the marketplace,
Yeah.
earlier before now, we used to have what is called marketing board, and government was able to control price control because of its investment in the area of agriculture. So you are able to what killed the marketing board is the middleman issue. So now if the Tinubu government will look into it and bring back marketing boards and now invest heavily on agriculture, I think the market price will can be controlled by the government.
Why do you think they are not investing heavily in agriculture? Why do you think this government is not investing heavily in agriculture?
Well, I don't know.
Is this a policy misplaced?
I don't know. But I think what they are doing is there is what we call farming in the file. A farmer farm
portfolio farmers.
That is what the government of the days, even of yesterday and today, they are servicing. Those are the people that they get the loans, the subvention of farming and all those things. Their farmland ends in their file. Everything ends in their file. They don't have no land for farming. They never went into farming business, but they have the concept. They can bring a beautiful proposal and bring all that it takes and whatever they required and go to assess those loans. And because the loans are not being monitored, Nigeria is a very careless state that gives out money without monitoring, without supervision, without evaluation, without getting any sort of report, and that money becomes free money to everybody. I think Tinubu is more experienced to have such thing happening under him. So we are helping him to say to him that the solution to most of this problem is let Nigerians be carted away from food insecurity to food security. Let the government invest heavily on agriculture. Let there be a direct link between the Minister of Agriculture and that farmer in any of the village. Let there not be middleness in it, because middlemen are the killer of all their government policies. We have seen how marketing board works.
How do we kill the middlemen?
That is by creating direct. I think
direct link,
because that effort was made during during Buhari, where you have anchor borrowers, you have telephone numbers with farmers directly.
Okay.
But still, the middlemen still find themselves inside, because the senator that you say bring 200 people or 1,000 people in his community, you will bring that name and the money comes to the senator, not to those people. and the senator now will decide on who to give and who not to give. Even the governors, they will collect the money on behalf of their people.
Okay.
So the money is not actually reaching the people. It goes to service the same people that are anti-people.
Yes.
Because these are our so-called representatives, and even the governors are anti-us,
Okay.
anti-people.
All right.
So,
I know, gentlemen and lady, we have 3 minutes to go. But let me go to Kate. How do we get agriculture right when the insecurity is ravaging all the states that are supposed to be food basket? From the northwest to the northeast to the north central, insecurity is ravaging every part of this, ravaging them. How can agriculture work?
Agriculture cannot work because if there is insecurity, people cannot go to farm. That's the truth. So it's for the security to step up their fight against banditry, terrorism, whatever. Because in some states, they actually don't go. Like in Benue, with what is happening in Benue State now, Benue happened to be food basket of the nation. Yam, even in Taraba. If you check what is happening in Taraba, these are places where you see food coming in for the nation. So if the president will concentrate more on the security, it's going to bring down most of these prices.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So I will stay with you on lesson learned and some of the demands that are out there. Part-time legislature, the reduced cost of governance. Should it be a discussion going forward? Because we have said the legislature that we have now is not sensitive to the people, and it is very expensive. Should it be a discussion that we should hold now that we must insist on a part-time legislature?
The issue of part-time legislation is not an option to me, because I don't see the effect. Because I remember House of Reps was on the television yesterday, one of the televisions houses yesterday, and he brought out the salary that he is being paid. To some extent, some of them are nice, some of them are actually working with their people. So if you are saying part-time legislation, what do we do with the governors that are the one controlling everything? So to me, it's not part of our problem. The problem is bring people-friendly policy. That they should be linked.
Is part-time legislature not people-friendly policy?
To some extent, it's not our problem for now. That is not Nigerian problem for now.
Okay.
So if you are giving any pilot, if you want to subsidize anything, make it a link that anybody can apply. You don't need to know a governor or know a senator or member House of Reps before you can assess all those things.
So let me come to Dr. Aliyu, 1 minute. Dr. Aliyu, we need to begin to discuss the kind of government or the system of government that works for us. Is part-time legislature also part of what the discussions will continue?
She said it's not, but she has answered herself again at the end, because this legislation we're having now is like the middle people. They kill everything.
Okay.
But when you
so
have,
they're also the middlemen that
they are the middlemen that need to be removed. She just answered it now. Now, if you make it part-time, no governor will there's no need for you to go and lobby before any senator to get anything, because just a part-time senator. He come, they pay him for his sitting. All the expenses, every month they are giving them housing allowance, 4-point-something million naira, and you are saying it's not a problem to our country.
I don't know what kind of payment sheet she saw.
Every legislator is carrying over 200 million naira in a year.
But the member said even the car they were giving, that Nigerians were glamoring that shouldn't be the problem. The 165 that they are being paid from their salaries being deducted every month.
165 million.
That is somebody's business. They are not even aware. The members are not aware of it.
165 million naira is what they told us, but they are giving the 300 and something million naira for each car. Quote me anywhere. All of them got 300 and something million naira. Is that
okay? So going forward,
we don't need them.
We don't need them.
We need part-time, and we don't even need this present democracy. Let's go back to
Parliamentary.
our parliamentary, because this one is just killing the country.
Okay.
We
So
should
parliamentary system is
System
the
of
way
government.
the
forward.
way forward. Simple.
Okay, all right, gentlemen and lady, I'm afraid we just have to leave it here. Kate Richard, founder, Community Care and Hope Foundation, thank you very much indeed for your time.
Thank you guys for following us up.
All right, I'm Dr. Aliu, Sani Aliu, Corps Commander General of NESO. Always a pleasure to have you here, sir.
Thank you.
All
Thank
right.
you.
And to our dear viewers, thank you very much for being part of the program. We'll keep you updated on the protest so far and some of the solutions that we'll be getting as we move along. From all of us here, it's bye for now.